is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are Southeast.
On a cloudy 83-degree night in Atlanta, it's time for Braves baseball. And Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, and the Marlins are in town. And they're playing with a sense of desperation. They're on the outside looking in large part because the Braves have played the role of the spoiler. They'll try to do it again tonight in Game 1 of a 3-game series. Hi again, friends. Joe Simpson, Tim Hudson, Chip Carey. Welcome to Turner Field, where the Braves hope to continue their dominance over the Marlins here in 2016. And who better to open up a series than the flamethrower, Mike Foltynewicz.
He's been on a real roll lately. It's almost like he's got a salary drive going here, trying to impress everybody the way he's been pitching and really dominating some of the hitters. Good outing his last time out against Washington. He got a no decision, but he only gave up 1 run. For Mike, it's all about getting off to a good start. He left the bases loaded in the first inning in that start, and he gave up the only run he allowed in the second inning. There are the numbers over his last 7. He's undefeated. He's also getting a lot of run support, and that's a good thing, too.
And Mike is our indescribably good player tonight. And for the Marlins, Tim, their front office did a lot of changing. They made some additions trying to bolster their starting rotation. The man going tonight, Andrew Cashner, was one of their acquisitions. But sadly for the Fish, it hasn't worked out the way they'd hoped.
Yeah, obviously, when they acquire a power arm like Andrew Cashner at the break, they hope to have a guy that's going to come in and anchor down that rotation. He struggled a little bit when they first got him, but obviously as of late, he's throwing the ball a lot better. He was coming off his best start of the year, his last start out against the Phillies, where he struck out 9 in 5+ innings and collecting his first win for the Fish. So, they're hoping that that's something that he can build from, and just go out there and try to give him a better chance to win tonight than he has when he first got him.
As you see, Tim, good numbers there for Cashner over his last 4 starts, but run support's been a problem for him, a trend we hope continues here in Game 1 tonight. Mike Foltynewicz, Andrew Cashner, it's the Braves and the Marlins. Martin Prado, El Presidente, is back in town to face his former club, and we'll talk with Martin and Jeff Francoeur as they return to Turner Field tonight for Game 1 of our big series.
Field for Game 1 of the Braves versus the Marlins. A very special game for a lot of the Marlins, but for different reasons. A lot of them will be playing for the last time on their old home turf of Turner Field. Multiple guys on that roster are former Braves. You have Chris Johnson, Hunter Cervenka, and of course Jeff Francoeur and Martin Prado. But for Frenchie and Prado, those guys were drafted by the Braves. They debuted with the Braves, and they spent the majority of their career here. So Turner Field has a very special place in their heart, but I'll let them tell you just how special.
Every time I come here, people just let me know like how I respect the game and how to play the game. So it's always good for people like to recognize that and be able like be part of the stadium that has so much is so rich in history. It's always good.
And you look out there and see the 12, and you know that so many great memories for me from coming here as a kid to watch to playing. My debut to playing in the playoffs, it's one of those things that, like I said, it's a little bittersweet, but at the same time, I think anybody that drives over and sees a new ballpark knows how awesome it's going to be.
Not only does Frenchie say he remembers playing here, debuting here, playing in the playoffs like he said, but coming here as a kid. So a very special ballpark for thousands of people all over. And you heard him also say it, 12 games left in this field, so it's going to be very bittersweet. But the Braves are hoping it'll be more sweet for them tonight because it is Game 1 of the Braves versus the Marlins, an NL East battle, and the Fish are desperate for wins to keep their playoff hopes still alive. Game 1 is coming up next.
Over the ballpark here in Atlanta, but still it's an 83-degree night as the Marlins and Braves square off in Game 1 of this series. Mike Foltynewicz is ready to go. He is on a very nice September roll in rotation for Atlanta.
Yeah, Folty, he's been throwing the ball really well. Obviously, you can see his home and road splits. It's definitely, there's no place like home, having a 3.8 ERA in his home start as opposed to a 4.39 on the road. So just a little bit of run support, and I think he should have a lot more wins this year. But I think he's feeling good about himself.
And his Ford keys to pitching success tonight, and it kind of deals with his early inning problems, early frost. He's got to knock that frost off tonight, come in hot, and try to get off to a good start and keep charging. He's been really aggressive, Tim, in the zone, using his fastball a lot. He's got a good breaking ball, but he's also been throwing a little two-seamer, a little sinker too, that's been working as a good off-speed pitch. but he has used that fastball to great effect.
It has such a power arm. I'd use it as well.
And here's the Marlins lineup, a lineup that is not scoring many runs, as we showed you. They've got D. Gordon back. No Giancarlo Stanton, not starting for the Fish. He's had groin problems. And keep an eye on JT Realmuto, a terrific hitting catcher who will be behind the plate. First pitch of the night for Fulte is off the plate to D. Gordon, and we are underway.
First pitch at 7:10, game time temperature.
1 ball, no strikes for D. Gordon, and that's up and away. D. Gordon has had a star-crossed year. 80-game suspension for PED use, and he has been, frankly, a shadow of the player he was last year when he was the batting champion, Gold Glover, Silver Slug Award winner, stolen base leader, all-star, and the hits leader in the major leagues. And that slapped foul over third, and the count 2 balls 2 strikes.
This is a golden opportunity for the Marlins if they want to get back in the wild card race. You got the Cardinals playing the Cubs. You've got the Mets playing the Nationals. They might be able to gain ground if they can figure out a way to beat Atlanta, and that's not been easy for them.
Swing and a miss. Gordon down on 97-mile-an-hour heat, and Fulte off to an excellent start.
It's that fastball you was talking about, Joe.
Right down the middle,
Right
too.
there. 97.
Getting after him.
Here's Ichiro Suzuki. Already a remarkable year for the ageless wonder for the Marlins. He climbed the 3,000 hit plateau in early August. He's 1 hit away tonight from tying Lou Brock for 25th on the all-time hits list. And yes, Ichiro hitting .296 for the year. And he jumps all over that pitch and hammers it to the right field fence. And Suzuki is on his way to second. He'll stop with a 1-out double. He is simply amazing, can still hit anybody's fastball.
Yeah, that one was coming there at 98, so he still has some bat speed and some quick hands. Middle of the plate.
Man, oh man. Not bad for a guy. What is he, 41? 40? Still runs good.
So how apropos is it with that base hit? He ties a man who usually ended up at second base in his big league career, Lou Brock, with his 15th double. 3,023 hits for Ichiro Suzuki. And now Martin Prado, the batter. Prado having a terrific year at .310 with 66 RBIs.
I shortchanged Suzuki's 42.
Bouncing ball toward third. Garcia's got it. Prado will mutter to himself as he's out at first base. And Suzuki's still at second now. 2 outs for Christian Yelich. This young man is a terrific hitter. He's a Gold Glove outfielder. And he's closing in on 20 home runs and 90 RBIs.
He's a very impressive young hitter. These guys have they've really got a gem in him.
And he's cooled off a little bit, I guess, since the All-Star break. His average anyways come down a little bit.
Strike one, tied him up over the inside corner. Lower average, but more power and nearly the same number of RBIs. And that one handcuffed Tyler Flowers. Ichiro will move up 90 feet on a wild pitch.
Change up. Got away from him. It's the 11th wild pitch for Mike this year. That's the most on the team.
Mike's had his share of first inning issues this season. He's got a man at third, but 2 outs. Pitch. And fouled at the plate. Yelich is behind in the count, 1-2. There's a good stop. And they say Yelich went around. They're going to call him out, and he can't believe it. Neither can I.
Thank you very much.
But Atlanta will take the break. Yelich, all he can do is smile and say, "You're kidding me." Ichiro Suzuki left stranded at third base on a ball that bounced a good 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet in front of the plate. For this Braves offense, which has been in high gear for the last week and a half, to keep rolling along. Not much changes for Brian Snitker. It starts with Ender Inciarte, and he will take aim at Andrew Cashner, who was acquired by the Marlins to boost their playoff hopes in rotation.
Y'all can see that Andrew Cashner, he's had his troubles in the first inning. It's just what the Braves like to see. 21 runs allowed in the first inning and 23 starts. It's just what you're looking for Braves right now.
And 5 homers for Cashner, as his first of the day is off the plate, ball 1.
He's a big guy, 6'6", 235, out of Conroe, Texas.
He definitely don't look as tough with a clean-shaven face. That's for sure. Little baby face.
Line drive into right center field. That's going to get down and roll for a while. Ozuna will pick it up on the warning track. Enders around second. He's flying for third, and he's going to make it easily with a leadoff triple.
He got a changeup, and one that was up. It looked like an off-speed breaking ball instead.
Like a breaking ball just over the middle of the plate. Drop the head on it.
It is so funny, Tim, how often we see first inning troubles for major league starters. We mentioned Mike Foltynewicz. He's given up a handful of runs. This guy's given up 21 runs in the first inning. I know you guys have to think about that. What do you do to try to break that first inning hex?
Well, you know, as a starter, if you know that that's been a problem for you, you want to go down there and after your bullpen and maybe throw a simulated inning in the bullpen before you come down. Those are some things that you could do. But you know what, for a lot of power arm starting pitchers, you know, their troubles are going to be in the first innings a lot of times. And, you know, for a lot of offenses, you know, that's when they they try to get them in the first, because once they settle in with frontline starter stuff, you know, once they settle in, it's going to be a lot tougher from the later innings on.
Ground ball to short. The Marlins concede the run as Echeverria throws to first, and Bohr dug it out. Adonis puts it in play. It's a first inning run charge to Cashner, and the Braves lead 1-0.
Add to the ERA. First inning runs.
When you make a deal for a guy like Andrew Cashner, one of the things you expect is him to be a guy who wants to finish games that he starts, but he's only pitched as much as 6 innings in 1 of 7 starts for Miami. Everything else has been 5, 5 1/3, somewhere in that vicinity.
Well, I know when he was in San Diego, the one thing that we always noticed with him is he'd always have deep counts with his hitters. He'd always be 3-1, 3-2, and a lot of walks. And you know, with that, your pitch count's going to go through the roof. You're going to be lucky to get through 6 innings.
Not the start Don Mattingly was hoping for Cashner tonight. He trails by a run with the birthday boy Freddie Freeman digging in. Freddie's getting old. He's all the way up to 27 now, and 29 home runs. Driven to center.
How many homers?
Oh, what a catch.
Wow.
And slamming into the fence is Christian Yelich. Check your jaw, check your spine, and check out the catch by Christian Yelich to Rob Freeman.
That sounded like it was going out. Great play. We're used to seeing Yelich play left field, but Don Mattingly decided to switch Yelich to center, move Ozuna to right when Stanton got hurt, because he likes Yelich's range from gap to gap.
It was a great athletic play.
That was tremendous.
So 2 outs, a run in for Matt Kemp. Former Padre teammates squaring off. We'll see who has the advantage tonight. Kemp with his second 30-homer season in the big leagues. His career high is 39 homers, set in 2011 when he was with the Dodgers. And he's hit 2 homers in his last 4 games. So he's a hot man. The 0-2 pitch is fouled away.
Spoiled a good one right there.
Do you like facing former teammates?
I didn't, actually. It seems like my former teammates always got hits off of me. I don't know why. I guess they played behind me so much they know exactly what my stuff looks like.
There's a roller out to Echeverria. That's stuck in the mitt. And throw to first is in time, and that retires the side. A leadoff triple and a ground out to short gives the Braves a first inning lead. And oh, by the way, Yelich, a great catch too.
As we head to the second inning, and a bit of a starting rotation update for you, who's battling some injuries. Birthday boy Matt Wisler missed his last start due to some side pain, but it was announced today that he's ready to go and he will make his start tomorrow. Williams Perez left the game early yesterday with right tricep problems. No update on him. He is still waiting the MRI results. And Aaron Blair will make another start for Gwinnett in their playoff run tomorrow night. And then Brian Snitker tells us he expects him to return to the rotation here in Atlanta.
All right, Kelsey, thanks for that update. And that'll be a happy birthday gift for Matt Wisler. He's 24 tonight as well for the Braves. Mike Foltynewicz leads by a run as we head to the second inning. It'll be Ozuna, Bohr, and Realmuto for Miami. Of all the Marlins, it has been said that Ozuna has benefited the most from Barry Bonds being the Miami hitting coach. Big numbers, lots of power. And remember, this was a man that was exiled to the minor leagues for a long time last season. Not so this year. He's been a mainstay in the middle of the lineup all year long for Miami.
Even looks like Barry a little bit.
He does, now that you mention it. Two balls, two strikes, and a chopper left side. Dansby charges, throws on the run, pretty play, and that retires Ozuna. 1 out.
Made that one look easy. That was a tough play.
You know what else too? It was good that Adonis didn't cut in front of him. He recognized right away he wasn't going to get to it, so he stayed out of his way.
As the Marlins put the wraps on this 2016 season, and we don't know where they're going to finish up, one thing that they can say is that they had to battle injury all year, including this man, Justin Bohr, who got hurt in Atlanta right before the 4th of July. You recall, right before the Braves played the Fort Bragg game, Bohr made a routine play at first base, stepped on the bag funny, and had a high ankle sprain that cost him about 2 months.
Yeah, I remember we thought he jammed his ankle, but it turned out to be a high ankle sprain, which could linger for a while.
Yeah, it's been a slow recovery for him, but you knew he'd come back to play the Braves somehow, some way.
Kills him, doesn't he?
If it was on crutches.
Bohr has hit 8 homers against the Braves, second most among all active players. Bryce Harper's hit 9.
And Bohr's has just been the last 2 years.
Right. Driven out of play, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And those impressive numbers are tonight's Georgia Lottery hitting the jackpot.
This season, 8 walks along with it.
That's hammered down the line.
Last year when he broke up Shelby Miller's no-hitter in the 9th inning, was that a pinch hit appearance?
It was. And I know I've said it before, if you've seen the movie The Natural, the scene where the whammer tries to hit Robert Redford, this guy's the whammer, and he does it again with a shot to left that drops in front of Matt Kemp.
Good piece of hitting right there.
Shot on top of it too.
Fastball, high fastball, up and away, getting on top of it, hit a line drive to left. It takes a good swing to be able to do that.
This is JT Realmuto, the terrific Marlins catcher, a 3rd-round pick 6 years ago, and he's hitting .312 this year. There's only one other man in the major leagues who has a higher batting average as a catcher than Realmuto. Jonathan Lucroy of the Rangers.
He's had a great year. Both of those guys have. I really like this guy. Good defensive player too. like Lucroy. Throws well. They've had him in the leadoff spot a few times too before D. Gordon came back.
Yeah, he doesn't run like a catcher. He can get down the line a little bit. He's an athlete.
Two quick strikes. And that missed inside. The thing you like about him is he's not just worrying about what he does at the plate, but behind it. Tonight, Real Muto's playing in his 122nd game. He has one passed ball this year.
Says a lot.
1-2 pitch. Just missed outside. And it's even.
This guy likes hitting in this ballpark too. 368 career average, 442 on base percentage. Tough out.
A ground ball would be nice. The 2-2 pitch. Strikeout works too. Ball dropped at the plate, but first base occupied. Real Muto is Mike's third strikeout victim, and Danny Echeverria is the batter.
That was a nasty sinker down and in. Thing moved a foot.
It was chasing him, wasn't it?
Wrapped around his back leg. That's a tough one to hit, boys.
Well, that's
Yes,
what
sir.
Tyler Flowers has said. He said Mike Fultonevich is the best arm he's ever caught in the major leagues. This is a man that's caught Quintana. He's caught Chris Sale, among others.
Yeah.
That's quite a compliment.
I can believe it. He has some really good stuff. He's fun to watch.
Marlins keep waiting for Echeverria to take a step or two forward offensively. Batting just .239 this year.
You know, he seemed like he was ready to take that step forward the last couple of years, and it seems like he's taking a little bit of a step back this year.
I agree. Still a solid shortstop, but offensively not quite the year he had last year, I don't think.
At the end of the season last year, Echeverria's totals a .281 average. 5 homers, 48 RBIs, .315 on base. He only walked 23 times. This year, he's hitting .239. Swing and a miss. Fulte blew him away at 99 miles an hour. That ball exploded up and away from Echeverria. That's 4 strikeouts, and Fultonevich leads 1-0. Countdown. Get ready for a celebration in Braves country as we play the final games at Turner Field. We'll have on-field selfies with players, the biggest fireworks show in our history, and something special for each and every game in the final homestand. Go to Braves.com/final countdown and get all the details. You don't want to miss it.
We love him too, young lady. Nice sign.
Guys, remember when you were 27?
Kind of.
Yes.
Sort of.
Long time ago for all of us, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to Freddie and Matt Whistler as Atlanta comes up here in the second. Nick Markakis, Tyler Flowers, and Jace Peterson will be the Braves hitters. 1-0 Atlanta. A ground out by Adonis Garcia plated the first Atlanta run. Nick's on a nice roll. He's got 6 hits in his last 4 games. And he unloads and drives one deep toward right. At the track, at the wall. Goodbye. Nick Markakis hits a solo homer. Homers and 80 runs batted in for Markakis.
That was halfway up the bleachers. Another fastball, inner third, and no doubt about it.
He pulled his hands in and got the barrel to it. Missed a spot, tried to go away and missed down and in, and it's a happy zone for him.
So Mike Voltunevich, who's been getting a ton of run support, has 2 runs in the first 2 innings, and the Braves aren't done yet here in the second. Tyler Flowers, the batter. He'd like to exact some revenge. You might recall a pitched ball led to a wrist fracture for Tyler Flowers when the Marlins hit him earlier this year. That too was in that series before the 4th of July. And then on a check swing in Chicago, Flowers felt that bone finally pop, and that sent him to the disabled list. Ball 4. So Cashner allows a homer and a walk, and that's going to bring Jace Peterson to the plate.
Tim, you always had good control, but you gave up a few home runs along the way. Does it get in the pitcher's mind that after a home run, then all of a sudden you're just quickly trying to be too careful?
No, you know, I think a lot of times, you know, it depends on what the offense's approach is for you that particular night. You know, if I think a team's going to be aggressive a lot of times, and maybe you'd want to expand the zone earlier in the counts. But, you know, after somebody hits a home run, you know, for the most part, I'm trying to go out there and get quick outs after that. The last thing you want to do is walk a guy after you give up a home run and have some deep counts and, you know, take your pitch count up. You want to try to get some guys out in 3 pitches or less and get back in the dugout and let your offense start going to work.
Well, it's hard to figure with Andrew Cashner. I mean, this was a man that was drafted by the Cubs and was traded for Anthony Rizzo. Think about that. Driven toward left. Ichiro Suzuki on the run near the line. And he hauls it in for the first out.
Well, he's got good stuff. I mean, he's got a big arm too. He doesn't throw as hard as Fulte, but he can rush it up there in the 93 to 95 range.
Yeah, a lot of times harder than that. I've seen him mid to upper 90s before.
Have you?
Yeah, he's got a good arm. Only problem, it's, you know, 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. You know, some counts where he's getting into hitters counts instead of pitchers counts. And
pop fly foul out of play by Dansby Swanson. He's down a strike. And the Braves kid shortstop enters play tonight with a .306 average.
As a pitcher, you can look at the first pitch strikes stat at the end of a game. You can tell pretty much to a man, you know, what kind of outing they had. If you hit a lot of first pitch strikes, and you probably went out there and pitched well. If you didn't, then you were struggling with your command and probably walking some guys and giving the team some opportunities to score some runs.
Cashner's 4 for 8 in throwing strike one. Does not yet have a strikeout. He's surrendered 2 runs on 2 hits. And now Swanson unloads toward left. Ichiro Suzuki back and makes the play. Was Dansby off stride when he swung at that ball? If he was, he still hit it about 360 feet to left center.
I think he might have been caught actually kind of looking for the slider again and got a fastball and just reacted to it. So it looked a little odd. But he got that front foot down quickly.
I saw the back foot come up, which made it look like he might have been off balance. But an easy play at left, 2 outs, and Mike Foltynewicz is the batter. Wonder if Cashner opened up a cut on his thumb. We'll have to take a peek at that as Gordon handles the flip at the second base bag, and that retires the side. Cashner's looking at his right thumb, and the Braves are looking at Nick Markakis taking the grand tour. His home run makes it 2-0 Atlanta as we go to the third.
Years of the Atlanta Braves was Saturday night. In the span of 1 hour, we saw Rome clinch a playoff series victory, Gwinnett clinch a playoff series victory, our big league club walk off against New York Mets, and Mississippi clinch a playoff victory. And all that happened within 1 hour.
That's Braves general manager John Coppolella as we kick off Prospect Week here on Fox. And with that in mind, to John's point, the playoff races for the Braves minor league clubs.
Mississippi and Rome start tonight. We're told Mississippi's already up 1-0 in that game behind Michael Bader. Mike Soroka going for Rome tonight at home. They're the only team of the 3 that's starting at home.
So we will have all kinds of prospect news for you on Braves Live pregame. We'll have sound bites, interviews during the games this week here at home. And we, of course, will keep you updated on all the action from the Braves minor league affiliates. And you can understand why Copy was so excited about that Saturday night outcome. As this ball's bunted by Cashner, Fulte stumbled, recovered, and threw late to first. And Cashner with a bunt single has the third Miami hit.
Well, usually when a pitcher drops a bunt down, especially one this big, your first inclination is to say, well, who's going to run for you? But that was a beauty. You didn't have to run.
Well, he's pretty fast for a pitcher as well. I know when he was in San Diego, they were saying that he was one of the fastest guys on the team.
No kidding.
Pitcher or position player, yeah.
Wow.
Believe it or not. So, big fella can run a little bit.
And now a base hit to left by D. Gordon on back-to-back pitches. Miami has a threat, first and second with nobody out. Talk about baby-faced, D. Gordon.
Yeah. Seems to always have a smile on his face.
Yes, he does.
So let's see how Fulte tries to handle Suzuki. Ichiro turned around a 98-mile-an-hour fastball and doubled to right.
Was he already with Seattle when you were in Oakland?
He was in Seattle when I tell you, my second year in Oakland was his big league debut.
Was it?
Yeah.
Lifted toward left, and Kemp's going to make the catch. Runners hold, one out.
It's obvious that he's a great hitter, but he also is somewhat unique in that, just as we saw when he tomahawked that ball against the wall in the first inning, he's halfway sliding out of the box as he's swinging just about every pitch.
Yeah, but he's keeping his hands back and his bat back in the zone. You know, his body may glide a little bit towards the pitcher, but he seems to just keep his hands back, and he's able to throw his hands and throw the barrel at the ball wherever it is. He's tremendous hand-eye coordination.
Might have the right guy at the right time in Martin Prado. He makes so much contact at the plate that he is double play prone. Martin has hit into 21 double plays this year.
And that's a lot.
And it's most in the National League. Not this time. He's going to pop it up. And that's going to be an infield fly. So a fly out to left, a pop out to third. Two quick outs after the Marlins had back-to-back hits. And now here's Yelich, whom the Braves struck out on a questionable check swing appeal. So do you want to pitch to him, or do you want to pitch to Ozuna?
They'll pitch to him. They're just trying to figure out how they want to go about it. Maybe they'll throw another pitch or two in the dirt, see if they get that check swing again.
Interesting note on Yelich in the Miami papers a couple of days ago. It has been the newfound power of Christian Yelich. Early in the season, he did not have many home runs. He's really been on a home run binge. There is a local radio host in Miami who said, "I will eat crow if Yelich hits 20 home runs this year." And so here's Yelich with 18 homers and 3 weeks left to play.
He's 2 away from digging in.
Well, he's got a hitting coach that knows something about hitting homers. Maybe he offered him an adjustment to help him drive the ball a little better. Because as we've talked about Chip a lot this year, he wears the Braves out to the left side of second base, especially left center and through that hole over there.
You know, Yelich's major league high in homers was before this year? 9. He's doubled it. And And a swing and a miss. What a job by Foltynewicz. A bunt single by the pitcher, a single by D. Gordon, 2 pop-outs, and a strikeout later. The Fish are frustrated in the third. 5 strikeouts for Folty. It's 2-0 Atlanta.
Is sponsored by your local Toyota dealers, Let's Go Places, the Georgia Lottery, and Zaxby's Indescribably Good.
With Joe Simpson, Tim Hudson, Kelsey Winkert, and our great Fox Sports crew, Chip Carey with you on a warm, breezy night in Atlanta. Braves have scored single runs in the first and second inning against Marlins starter Andrew Cashner. And he'll have to face the top of the order here in the home third, where Mike Foltynewicz enjoys a 2-run lead with 5 strikeouts in his first 3 innings pitched.
Got a little ding on his thumb from something. Maybe around the nail. May have a hangnail or something that got caught up on a seam.
Ender tripled to start the game, and he takes a knee-high strike.
Yeah, a lot of times those seams can grab something on your cuticle and pull it up and just cause it to bleed a little bit. It's hard to stop it once you're out there bleeding and you're sweating and you're hot and your blood's pumping. It can look like a mess out there sometimes.
Yeah, I bet that rosin feels good too. You rub a little rosin in it.
Yeah.
Did you ever have blisters?
You know, I used to have blood blisters whenever I would throw my split finger underneath my middle fingernail. You'd have to pop it once in a while. About every couple of innings, you have to poke it with a little needle just to relieve the pressure and go out there.
Because there's so much talk about Rich Hill, who had that perfect game bid and has had a history of blister problems for the Dodgers. Would that be a blister that's on the finger itself or under the nail like yours? And if it's not like yours, how do you treat that?
It's tough. I know a lot of times when you actually have blisters on your skin, that's part of the finger that holds it's against the leather of the ball. Ooh, nice swing.
That was an emergency hack right there.
You know, there's all kind of things you can do to your finger, to your skin, to try to toughen it up. You know, I've heard people putting their fingers in pickle juice, rubbing alcohol, just things to try to toughen your skin up, try to keep it from blistering up on you from start to start. Nice.
Another shot toward the gap. Another chance for Ender to have an extra base hit. Yelich got to it quickly, and this time it's a double. So after the emergency hack, Inciarte splits the gap in right center again. He's 2 for 2, and the Braves are off and running again here in the 3rd inning.
Breaking ball like a slider, and Ender got his front foot down quickly so he could just let his hands do the work. Nice job.
It's almost a carbon copy from his triple first inning.
And I'm guessing this isn't a mystery for Inciarte, former Diamondback. Probably saw Cashner a lot with the Padres.
I bet he has a lot of at-bats against him.
And he's 2 for 2 tonight. Here's Adonis.
15 coming in.
Little number hit towards short. Echeverria throws high and wild. That's going to ricochet off the front of the Braves dugout. And Garcia's in at second. It's 3-0.
This was an interesting way to try to make this play by Echeverria. He's such a good shortstop, number one. But he was really low to the ground with both hands. Usually a shortstop will kind of come in and scoop it with the glove and throw on the run, but he was trying to get both hands down there and throw from down there. That was really hard.
Give Garcia an infield hit. He takes second on the throwing error. Inciarte scores on the error. The 11th made by the Miami shortstop. And the Braves are running the picket fence at him. Single runs in each of the first 3 innings. And Freddie Freeman will be the batter. What a contrast in pitching styles in this game. Mike Foltynewicz entered play with 100 strikeouts in 114 innings. Cashner with 99 strikeouts in 117 innings. Folty has struck out 5 Marlins. No Braves have struck out yet. Freddie had a good cut, fouled back.
Yeah, they seem to be getting some pretty good swings at him. Must be seeing it pretty well.
Miami, a good fielding club. Typically, though, they're 4th in the league in fewest errors. That was number 78. Washington still with the fewest, 65.
Freddie Freeman with a 17-game hitting streak. That's the longest active streak in Major League Baseball, with 21 hits during that stretch. And he didn't get that one. 2-2. Stop, and it's a full count.
See if Freddie can get something to pull and get him over or get him in.
Ripped into right center. That's going to get down for a hit. Here comes Adonis around third. He will score. It's a birthday RBI for Freddie Freeman, and it's 4-0 Atlanta.
Straight for Freddie. He's now reached in 34 straight. Fastball. RBI 74.
You got a fastball inside, which is a strange pitch selection because you know they're trying to hit something to the right side to get them over to third. Thank you very much.
So not only does Freeman have a hit streak of 18 games, he's reached base in 34 straight games too. So the Braves continue to make the Marlins miserable. It's 4-0. And ball low for Matt Kemp. 8 o'clock here in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you for joining us tonight. Game 1 between the Braves and Miami. Driven to right. That's going to get down for a hit. Nice piece of hitting for Kemp. And that's 4 consecutive hits to start the inning for the Braves offense. And Don Mattingly beginning to ponder the lineup card.
Another fastball. Probably wanted that one down and in and didn't get it there. You know, Cashner had the bunt single, was on base the rest of the inning. He sat in the dugout for the longest time while we were in commercial break. He didn't go out and start warming up till we were almost back from break, and I think only threw 3 or 4 warm-up pitches.
Juan Nieves is the Miami pitching coach. And look, we know who the ace of the Marlins staff is. That's Jose Fernandez. He's their #1 guy. Tom Kohler has emerged as a dependable starter for them. Wei-Yin Chen has been hurt. He was the former Oriole. And then after that, Adam Conley hurt his hand. He's been out for a while. They have searched far and wide to try to fix their starting rotation, and they have not had much luck at the back end after Fernandez and Kohler.
Well, we've seen Conley a couple of times. We liked him a lot. He was very impressive. I didn't know he was on the shelf.
So it has not been an easy run for Don Mattingly, not to mention Bohr's missed time, Stanton's missed time, Gordon's missed half the season. I think Don Mattingly deserves an awful lot of credit for keeping Miami within 5 games of a playoff spot with 3 weeks to play. But if you don't pitch and you don't hit, you don't win, and that's been the fate of the Fish lately. Markakis took a strike, 2-1.
That was Nick Whitgren loosening up.
Got some action down there.
If you missed Nick's first at bat tonight, you missed a long home run to right. That led off the second inning. That's a full count, says Quinn Walcott, the home plate umpire, native of Washington State.
Nick should get him a good pitch to hit right here. 3-2 count.
No swing on the appeal, and Atlanta's got him loaded. 5 straight men have reached.
Christian Yelich is standing out in center field, maybe a little puzzled about why that wasn't a swing.
Yeah. Sorry, kid.
And that's going to be all for Andrew Cashner. He did not have much tonight. And on a night when the Marlins needed a whole lot more from their big right-handed starter, he is out after 2+ innings, 4 runs, 6 hits, and he leaves with a gigantic 3rd inning mess. seats and a modern cantilever design, SunTrust Park will offer maximized sightlines and the ability for fans to sit closer to the action than any other ballpark in baseball. More than 10,000 fans have already secured their season tickets, and areas of the ballpark are already sold out. Don't delay. Get your SunTrust Park season tickets today by visiting Braves.com/SunTrust Park. And later on tonight, we'll have a nice feature from Greer Howard, one of the Braves in-game hosts here at Turner Field, as she will give us a update on the happenings at SunTrust Park.
44 games for Whitgren, all in relief. Nice walk to strikeout ratio. Fastball in the low 90s with a curveball and a changeup. Short night for Cashner.
2+, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, no strikeouts, and the Nick Markakis homer. So Whitgren will try to clean up the mess. Tyler Flowers, the Braves batter.
We talked yesterday, Chip, about that grand slam that Cespedes hit was the 7th allowed by the Braves. Braves have yet to hit one. They need one.
That's slowing away. Look at these numbers. This really surprised me.
Yeah, I'm surprised the Braves average is as low as it is. I thought it was a lot better than that with them loaded. Maybe because we always like to see Jace Peterson come up, and he's still hitting about 400 with them loaded.
1 ball, 1 strike. Good cut. Tyler's done good work with runners in scoring position, but here's another surprising number. Look at what he has done in his career with the bases loaded.
Never would have thought that.
Nope. That's a 3 for 40 lifetime average. Well, let's fix that right here, Tyler. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball up the middle. He did. Base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Kemper on third. No throw. Tyler Flowers with a base hit with 2 strikes brings home 2 more.
Way to go, Chip.
The 075's coming up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Never about 090.
Hands inside the ball again.
Didn't try to do too much with that pitch. Just served it up the middle. Stayed inside. Got the barrel to it.
6 straight Braves have reached. Atlanta scored 4 in the 3rd. Here's Jace Peterson. He had a good cut. Whitgren's out of Torrance, California. 9th round pick 4 years ago. Was a Pacific Coast League midseason All-Star last year. And entering this year, he has never started a game as a professional pitcher. And a line drive into left field. That'll get it down in front of Ichiro. And it is like a conveyor belt to the batter's box. Just one after another for Atlanta. And Dansby Swanson will hit with the bags full of Braves.
I like this. It's fun. Change up. Good piece of hitting by Jace, just taking it the other way. I wonder what the record is for most batters come to the plate without an out.
Could be reaching it.
Yeah.
Swanson's number 8. Infield comes in.
It's a good situation for Dansby. Bases loaded, pitcher on deck. Normal situation. They may not get too much to hit with the pitcher on deck, but with the bases juiced, you got to come to him.
And how about the man on deck? It's Mike Foltynewicz, who has been pitching well, but sometimes even when you pitch great, you don't get run support. That's not been the case for him the last month. He's got a 6-run lead tonight.
It's funny how that happens for some starting pitchers. They're just pitching on the right day where the team's scoring runs, and he happens to be that guy right now.
And if you're the guy pitching the next day, say save a couple, right?
Just 2. Save 2.
Let me start with 2.
Let's start with 2 tomorrow. Go from there. It always seems to happen like that. 11 spot one day, shut out into the 6th inning the next, it seems like.
Nothing Don Mattingly can do, but Hope Whitgren can stop the bleeding. The pitch is a little low.
These at bats for Dansby, he's already proven to be a guy who doesn't just go up there and swing wildly and go sit down. He's got a plan. He's got an idea what he wants to do. Might have overswung a little bit on that first pitch he got this at bat.
Fly ball, well hit right center field. Ozuna on the run, slowing, trying to track. He'll make the play. 1 run scores. Flowers tags. He'll head to third. It's a deep sac fly for Dansby Swanson, who nearly cleared him with an extra base hit. He'll settle for 1 ribby at 7-0. And that's the 7th and final run that belongs to Cashner.
I'll tell you, I'm really impressed with his approach at the plate. Just doesn't try to do too much with it. Puts a barrel on it. Nice easy swing. Just jumps off of his bat.
It's almost like, Tim, like that first swing, it was like, okay, this one's mine. I want to see what I can do here with this first pitch strike. And then after that, he goes back to his approach, cuts down on his swing a little bit.
Well, I don't mind that with the bases loaded. You figure the pitcher's going to try to get ahead.
Now Mike drives 1 to right.
Good arm.
Ozuna catches, sets. Here it comes. And the runner at first, Peterson, is the man that tags. And he'll move up, as Ozuna did make a strong throw to the plate. So they're at 2nd and 3rd with 2 outs.
It's good base running.
Well, this is a lot of runs for the Braves early. That's a great thing. For the Marlins, the way they've struggled to score runs over the stretch where they've lost 11 of 14, it must look like 27 runs to them.
We've been there before too, haven't we?
No joke.
Haven't we all?
And to Joe's point, last 15 games, Miami's won 4 of them. They're scoring less than 3 runs a game. Their on base percentage .281.
And there's 0 that the manager can do, except maybe juggle the lineup, but those are his guys, and just hope that somebody gets hot.
Well, that's what, again, this is going to be such a frustrating year for Miami. They're going to have to wonder what could have been. Yelich stays healthy. Stanton stays healthy. Gordon doesn't get suspended. Chen makes 30 starts. Echeverria hits .260, not .230. Bohr stays healthy. But that hasn't happened as Enciarte rolls out to end a very productive Atlanta inning. The first 7 Braves reached. 5 of them scored. All 7 runs on the board belong to Andrew Cashner. And we head to the 4th inning. Braves lead as we head to the 4th inning. Let's take a look at tonight's Academy Sports leaderboard with Mike Foltynewicz rolling merrily along with plenty of early heat.
Well, we used to see Tim Hudson's name right there on that list somewhere, but tonight it's Foltynewicz and of course Jose Fernandez for the Miami Marlins, who will pitch here Wednesday night against Tehran.
Maybe if you add up my fastball twice. Not
combined arsenal right there.
Not sure if one's going to get there.
You know what? I remember one of the first times I saw you pitch was on television in the player lounge here at Turner Field.
Ouch. Ozuna just got smoked. And he's trying to walk it off, and I don't know if he's going to be able to.
95 on the knee.
There's not a lot of meat in there. Got it right on the side of the knee, it looks like. Oof.
Man, that's a bad place. You were pitching in Oakland? And I remember hearing Chipper say, man, that Hudson's got a great changeup. He was watching you pitch.
That was probably my fastball.
Well, might have been. He backed right into it.
Yeah, that hurts.
He's trying to buy some more time.
Trying to get some feeling back. Good for him.
This is the time of the game, Tim, when the old-time trainers will come out with the old silver spray, just spray that frozen stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That had a bad thump.
I think you need some cold spray right now.
He needs something cold, all right, but I don't think that spray is what would help him.
Here's Justin Bour. Bour singled his first time up. Foltynewicz out of the stretch. Mike's had some base runners tonight. He does not have a 1-2-3 inning, but when he's been in trouble, he's gone to that fastball, and it's worked for him. 5 punch outs in the game. Served over the screen, and a fan from Peachtree City is going to make the catch on that pop up by Justin Bour.
My old neighbor got that ball.
Wonder why he moved.
No swing.
My wife's hard to deal with.
Oh, here we go.
Well, we know better than that.
Bour, an old-fashioned slugger. No batting gloves. Grip it and rip it. This one's popped up. And back our way. No play. Bour was a Cubs farmhand. No place for him to play with Anthony Rizzo at first base. So Marlins got him on a Rule 5 draft.
Great claim and a great opportunity for him that he's made the most of.
And he's got another hit. Base hit to right. Ozuna will cup the bag at second. And he'll slide into third base.
Look at him. Tip of the cap to Ozuna. Taking the extra base, running hard, and sliding into third and barely stand up.
So you know that knee's still hurting.
Where's the hole to get Bour out?
Yeah. I'm just glad that he and Turner and Daniel Murphy don't play together. Yeah, Braves would never get him out.
So here's Real Muto. He struck out his first time up. And a strike called. Speaking of Trey Turner and the Nationals, they're up 6-1 on the Mets in the third inning tonight. Cardinals and Cubs getting started in St. Louis. No score. Swing and a miss.
I think that was Syndergaard for the Mets, wasn't it?
No, it's Montero.
Okay.
Montero against Matt Latos for Washington. Remember, the Nationals kept their 3 starters super duper top secret until late yesterday.
That's right.
Oh, that's hammered into the camera well. Is everybody all right? Kelsey, okay down there?
That was close.
Marlins are 5 games out of the wild card. They're a game under 500. Ground ball. Swanson at short. Sliding stop. Throws to second and got his man. What a play. I didn't think he had a chance to do anything but keep that ball on the infield. Instead, he turned that into an out. A run is in. It's 7-1.
Great play here. Great play here. Jace Peterson with a great job of hanging on to this short hop from his knee, delivered by Dansby. Great play.
Good defenders play with what I call an arrogance. There's not a play they don't think they can't make. And Swanson did just that for the forced play. And now that one's whacked up the middle by Echeverria. Right back where it came from, and Fultonevich had to skip the rope. And 2 are on for Derek Dietrich, the former Georgia Tech star, and another Marlin that's given the Braves trouble at the plate this year.
And got that one up a little bit. Dietrich has spent some time on the DL too.
Must be something in the water down there.
Must be.
Oh, the old mystical waters of the Miccosukee Canal.
Yeah.
Cause a lot of problems if you're not careful.
Got to be careful where you wade in it. Right knee contusion.
Dietrich's been a jack-of-all-trades player for the Marlins. Again, with D. Gordon suspended, Dietrich played second base quite a bit for Miami. He's played 12 games at first, 6 games at third, 3 games in left. 69 games as their second baseman, and he's hit the Braves hard. A strike. Against the Braves this year, Derek Dietrich, 10 hits and 29 at bats. That's a .345 average with 2 homers and 6 RBIs. And he lines this one into center field. That'll get down in front of Inciarte. Scoring on the play is Real Muto. Echeverria all the way around to third. It's a 7-2 game as Derek Dietrich continues to punish the Braves. A pinch hit single here in the top of the 4th inning.
You could draw a lot of similarities between Dietrich and Jace Peterson in their athletic ability to play anywhere on the field, left-handed hitters, tough outs.
Seems to bring some good at-bats against the Braves.
Fulte needs to put an end to this.
Yeah.
Started with the hit batter.
Remember, Mike had a game against the Twins up in Minneapolis where the Braves gave him a ton of runs early in the game, and he was letting them put the ball in play, and they did. 12 hits, 6 runs in 5 1/3 innings, a game the Braves won 9-7.
Yeah, I want to say they were up 9-0 at one point.
But now you've got Gordon, then Suzuki, then Prado, then Yelich. 7-2 and a strike. Gordon's 3rd inning hit, his first in 18 at bats on the road.
Very little run support for him first half of his season, but the second half has been excellent in terms of run support, and 7 already tonight.
This may sound like a silly question, Tim. Is it tough for a youngish starter like Mike Foltynewicz to pitch with a big lead?
Well, you know, you obviously, once you have a lead like that, you don't want to go out there and start throwing a lot of balls and walking guys. You want to try to pound the strike zone, but then there comes a time when you need to expand the zone a little bit. You know, if you have a big lead and they're spinning your count, you know, for some hits in a row, and you start giving up a crooked number, you need to start pitching your game and you know, and executing that game plan, and not just necessarily going out there and trying to get ahead of every hitter and just giving them things to hit. You need to go out there and execute a game plan and make some better pitches.
Gordon fought that off, a ball and 2 strikes.
For me, you know, I tried to throw a shutout every time I took the mound, whether we had 1 run or 10 runs. I didn't want to give up any runs, so I would.
There's a big pitch. Gordon chased one up and out of the zone for the 2nd out.
And you try to go out there and pitch, and you know, try to keep your ERA down. It's a big pitch right there.
I don't remember what your record was, but I know it was unbelievably good. When you got 4 runs to play with, it was pretty much game over.
Well, I came from an Oakland team that 4 runs felt like 24. So when we scored 4 runs, we had to make that last, and you know, so it was, you had to bear down almost every start.
Ichiro doubled in the 1st inning to tie Lou Brock on the all-time hits list. When Suzuki was chasing down 3,000 hits, he said he'd like to try to play 3 to 5 more years. And he keeps doing that. He'll have a chance. He bloops a single into right. That brings home Echeverria. It's a 7-3 game. Dietrich to 3rd base. And Ichiro all by himself now on the hit list at number 25.
Slider that was just a cement mixer. And they're 1st and 3rding it.
What a great hitter. So here's Martin Prado. Martin is 13 for 51 against the Braves. He's knocked in just 2 runs against Atlanta pitching this year. Martin, I believe, a free agent at the end of the season. There were some published reports that said the Marlins are interested in bringing him back.
Why wouldn't they?
Popped up. Will it stay in play? It will not. And Martin now a 1-2 count.
Yeah, exactly, Tim. He's made 9 errors at 3rd base, and I want to say he made 2 or 3 of them in one game against Atlanta, which was a real fluke.
Might have been that first series.
He's just a great all-around baseball player. He can do so many things for you.
1-2 pitch. Line into right center field. That's going to get down. A run is in. Ichiro around second, on his way to third. And the Marlins have come roaring back with 4 runs in the 4th inning. And now Christian Yelich is coming up, and the Braves bullpen is beginning to stir.
See Tyler Flowers set up away. This ball ran back to the inner third.
That patented Prado inside out swing, line drive to right center. See him do that so many times when he was in a Braves uniform.
5 hits, 4 runs in the inning for Miami, a frame that started with a hit batsman. And now Yelich is the batter. He's the 9th man to hit. He has struck out twice, but now he represents the tying run. And he was thinking about tying it right there.
You're talking about his increased power, Chip. And I was listening to the folks talk about Daniel Murphy in Washington with his resurgence and his power numbers. And I asked Terry Collins about that when the Mets are in town. I said, what's the deal with Murphy? How did this get turned around? And he said last year, right before the end of the season, his hitting coaches got him to move up on the plate and to crouch a little bit. And that made a huge difference for Murphy in terms of getting more pitches to turn on inner half. And I don't know if Yelich has moved up on the plate, but maybe something similar was put in his head by Barry Bonds that helped him. Or by that great hitter too.
Ground ball. Peterson smothers, slides, throws, not in time. Ichiro scores. An infield hit for Yelich. It's 7-5 now. Bang bang play. Great effort by Jace, but Yelich called safe.
And don't forget the good play made by Swanson that got an out. Well, this might be a little worse.
Yeah, that's true. Is that this inning?
Yes.
So you think Ozuna is thinking about revenge right here? A 5-run third for the Braves, a 5-run fourth for Miami. And he lines one off Fultonevich, who's down, can't pick up the baseball, then everybody is safe. And who would have thought that? An absolute missile hit right back through the box.
Well, if revenge was on his mind, he got it. Like off the inside of the left leg, maybe on the ankle.
Mike's able to walk off very gingerly, but he is struck with a batted ball off the bat of Marcell Ozuna, and he will leave with the bases loaded. And Braves killer Justin Bour is coming up with 2 outs in what is now a 7-5 game. This delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. That includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Go to MLB.tv for details. 10 men have batted for Miami. Mike Foltynewicz started this frame by hitting Ozuna with a pitch. A moment ago, Ozuna hit him with a batted ball that sends the Braves right-hander to the dugout. And Ryan Weber will take over with 3 Marlins aboard, 2 outs, and Justin Bour coming up in what is now a 2-run Atlanta game.
Well, Ryan has definitely been the long reliever for the Braves. He and De La Cruz have been asked to fill in with some long relief several times in recent days. And once again, Ryan gets the call.
Bour is 2 for 2. Braves had a chance to finish off the fish, but Miami's come storming back. And now Bour licking his chops with the bases loaded, down 2 runs. Bour is 3 for 7 this year with the bases loaded. Fly ball, well hit. Enciarte, though slowing, is going to have room, and that retires the side. 11 men come to the plate for Miami. 5 Marlins score. It's now a 2-run game.
We head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Both teams just putting on a clinic on how to hit with runners in scoring position. And ironically enough, I talked to Freddie Freeman and Nick Markakis earlier on how that changes your approach at the plate. Freddie tells me it depends on the outs, because if there's a guy, you want to be able to give yourself up to score that run. And when you have runners in scoring position, your energy level goes up, your confidence goes up, because you want to be that guy. Nick Markakis told me the scoreboard dictates everything, because if you're down late with a guy in scoring position in a 1 to 2 run game, it's different than when you're down a lot of runs like last night. But he said you're always more aggressive with runners on, because you know the pitches are trying to get ahead. But I think one thing is for sure, guys, and that is hitting is contagious. And that was just proven to us with those last 2 innings.
Oh, no doubt about it. It's an outbreak of offense. 12 runs, 19 hits combined. Each club in their last at bat scored 5 runs. And the Braves, who had a 7-0 lead, now lead 7-5 with David Phelps on to pitch. Changes in the outfield for Miami. Ichiro is in right field. Dietrich is in left. Ozuna out of the game after he got hit on the knee. Phelps, who's been a terrific addition for the Marlins, starting and relieving, is the third pitcher of the night.
It's not often you see a guy with 5 starts and 3 saves. Mid-90s fastball with a lot of cutters and a curveball.
No balls, 2 strikes. For Adonis Garcia. As soon as we hear about Ozuna and Fultonevich, we'll let you know. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and popped out of play.
Fellas, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see that inning coming.
No.
That fourth.
Fulte sat for a long time as the team batted around there in the 3rd inning.
Yeah.
Came out and hit the first guy. Might have tightened up a little bit, stiffened up a little bit.
Swing and a miss at mid-90s heat. Phelps takes care of Garcia for out number 1. Well, one strength of the Marlins has been their relief corps. As Freddie Freeman digs in. Marlins relievers have 26 wins. That's tied with the Dodgers for the most in the National League. 482 strikeouts coming into play tonight. That's 3rd in the league. And their opponent's batting average of .233, 4th best. They have struck out over 9 hitters per 9 innings. In fact, it's 9.15 to be exact, which ties a Marlins record by their relief corps. But the relievers haven't been the problem. It's finding starters for Don Mattingly. And tonight, Cashner got the nod and did not impress. Line drive by Freeman into right field. So a 2-hit night for Freddie Freeman. And the Braves are back at it here in the home 4th.
See if we can't get a couple more of those back. Some meat of the order coming up.
Yeah, that lead of 7 runs that I said must look like 27. They erased a lot of that right away.
Well, a game like this, you take comfort in the fact that the Braves bat last. A hot shot up the middle. Back-to-back hits by Freeman and Kemp.
Matt does a good job on many occasions, even on a first pitch like this, of letting the ball travel deep. He lets that ball get to him before he's actually making a move to it. And he's so strong and quick to the ball, he can track it a little longer.
Nick's 4 for 13 against Phelps. Has homered, walked, and scored twice tonight.
I like that knob Nick's got on his bat. It's got a real narrow handle, but it really flares out to almost like a saucer down there.
Yeah, I'll bet he could stand that bat on that end. That handle's so wide.
Well, it's a nice place to rest your bottom hand.
Good pitcher's pitch. And the count now 2 balls and a strike.
I don't know if Phelps is upset with himself or if he thought those were close enough to get a call, but they were well off the plate. The backdoor cutter, backdoor slider, whatever it is he's trying to drop in there.
Full count. Markakis was on his way to first base. Pitch number 5 looked to be off the plate.
Yeah, it was mighty generous.
Yeah, that should have loaded him up. Quinn Walcott behind the plate tonight.
When Walcott made his big league debut as an umpire a couple of years ago, he was the youngest major league umpire. Out of Puyallup, Washington. The pitch. Strike 3 at the knees. No argument from Markakis that time. And instead of the bases loaded with 1 out, Markakis is rung up and 2 are on with 2 outs for Tyler Flowers.
What a difference that makes in the inning.
Flowers has walked, he's singled, he's knocked in 2 runs. One ball, no strikes.
Each of these teams has an expanded bullpen in the month of September here, but it almost pales in comparison to the Mets and Nationals. Each side has 11 guys in their bullpen.
It's looking like we're going to be using a lot of them tonight.
Yeah.
Both sides.
Two balls and a strike. And it's even now. As that one hit into the club level to our right.
Tell you, Tim, this guy already would have walked in a run tonight if he'd been pitching in Wichita with that 20-second clock.
Yeah, he would have.
There'd have been a few balls already tacked onto some counts. It's taken forever.
Foul to the right again.
He's putting up a good battle here. Got a big 2-out RBI. Get some runs back.
Phelps went to Hazelwood West High School in the St. Louis suburbs. Then Notre Dame, where he majored in political science and computer applications. Was a 14th round pick by the Yankees in 2008. They flipped him to the Marlins in 2014 with Martin Prado for Nate Eovaldi, Garrett Jones, and right-handed pitcher Domingo Germán.
And I believe Eovaldi had to have Tommy John surgery just in the last month or so.
So advantage Marlins in that deal. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a good at bat for Tyler. He'll see an 8th pitch. Jace Peterson's on deck. 2 on, 2 out. 7-5 Braves lead it. Ball 4. So here's the point Joe made earlier. Right guy at the right time. Jace Peterson with the bases loaded. And Don Mattingly very slowly makes his way to the mound. He will make another pitching change. Phelps retires 2, gives up 2 hits and a walk. Bases are loaded for Atlanta. Miami will use its 4th pitcher, and we're not through the 4th inning. Gordon Beckham is on deck. That would be the spot that Dansby Swanson occupies on the lineup card. But Tim, you saw something in between breaks.
Yeah,
leads us to wonder why.
Yeah, I saw Tyler overthrow the pitcher a little bit, hit Swanson right in the shin. It looked like. I think he got it pretty good. I wonder if that's a reason why he's out of the game.
I will guarantee you they don't stand behind the mound anymore to have their little conversation.
Yeah,
it's in harm's way.
Yeah.
So here's an old friend, Hunter Cervenka. He is on to pitch for the Marlins.
Those are pretty good numbers combined, but with Miami, since he was traded, he's he is 0-0, but a 6.75 ERA in 10 games. 5 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks. Cutters and curveballs.
Was removed from the game for precautionary reasons with a left knee contusion.
No balls into strike. And a shot to short. Echeverria's got it. He'll flip to Gordon at the bag. And Cervenka retires Jace Peterson. We'll see if Gordon Beckham comes in defensively. We head to the 5th. Game and play shortstop. We hope the thumping that Dansby Swanson took on that throw from Tyler Flowers isn't serious. As soon as we get official word, we'll pass that along to you. We did hear the reason for Ozuna's departure. He was taken out for precautionary reasons with a knee contusion after he was hit by a pitched ball from Mike Fultonevich.
I'm surprised he was able to stay in the game. Not only that, he inspired them.
He was definitely contused.
Yes, he was. I like that. That's going to go into the book as JT Realmuto leads off the Marlins 5th. Realmuto, Hechavarria, and Dietrich are coming up. Bounding ball. Beckham. Big hop. Perfect throw. 1 out.
Might have been dazed and contused.
Here's Echeverria. His 4th inning hit, snapped an 0 for 17 dry spell away from Marlins Park. And a strike. Marlins trying to get back to 500 and stay somewhat relevant in the wild card race. They do have a big obstacle, however. Among all the National League teams fighting for that wild card berth, the Marlins are the only team with a losing record against their own division. That makes it tough. Marlins are only 24-33 against the National League East. The Braves have beaten them 8 out of 12 times. Sharply hit. Oh, what a pick by Gordon. 2 nice plays.
Welcome to the ball game.
Yeah, do it over there, 7.
Hope you got your cup on.
Nice hands.
Like it was nothing.
Now, as a Georgia Bulldog fan, I'm a little upset that after that great play, Matthew Kaminsky doesn't play the Georgia fight song, but he's playing the Georgia Tech song for Derek Dietrich, who stands in. That's just wrong on so many levels. The pitch, strike. Dietrich, a pinch hit RBI last time up.
I can't say I'm familiar with the Georgia Tech fight song.
We got a guy right here who can sing it for you.
All right. Let's hear it.
Arbuckle Jenkins.
Come on, Ramblin' Wreck.
It's the only time I think we've seen Arbuckle shy. If he had ice cream involved, he'd be all over it. One ball, two strikes. And that one popped into right. Markakis to his right. And Weber restores some order. Can you believe it? That is our first 1-2-3 inning in this game. It comes in the fifth where the Braves lead by 2.
Everybody knows we're, we've been doing a big rebuild, and I think what it is a compliment to the type of players that we have. We had 4 teams that got in. Gulf Coast League got eliminated, but we had a lot of those kids out of the drafts. We've had 2 drafts and 2 international, and a lot of those kids have come right out of that. So we're excited, and I think at the same point it's. You talk about winning and development, but for these kids to get to play meaningful games with the talent that they have, young age, shows a lot, and it's good for us.
That, of course, is John Hart as we begin Prospect Week for you here in Atlanta. The big league club leading 7-5 as Atlanta comes up in the 5th inning, and the Marlins will bring on their 5th pitcher of the game. It's right-hander Austin Bryce, who's in for the 6th time in the show.
Not much work so far, but 6 strikeouts in 6 innings. That's good work. And lefty's 0 for 13 against him. I like that too.
And the first pitch is bounced towards short. Echeverria's got it. Loads up. Got Beckham. 1 down. Brandon Snyder will pinch hit. Here's a little bit of a bio for Austin Bryce. 6'4", 238, born in Pittsburgh, North Carolina. Was a shortstop at Northwood, North Carolina High School. The Marlins took him in the 9th round in 2010. He was a starting pitcher. In fact, he was a AA All-Star this year for the Marlins club in Jacksonville. Appeared in 5 games at New Orleans. 1 earned run in 8 2/3 innings with a couple of saves. Made his major league debut on August the 12th. This is his first appearance against the Braves. Last outing, 2 strikeouts in an inning against the Phillies on the 7th. Snyder grounds to second. D. Gordon's got it, and quickly 2 out.
I'll say this, he's got a tough arm slot for hitters. Low 3/4, kind of stiff arm.
Last fastball was 94, so he's got a little giddy up on it too.
Ryan Weber, a nice job in relief. An inning and a third of perfect pitching. Ender Inciarte's the batter. It's the 5th inning. He's up for the 4th time. And didn't mean to and fouled it away. That pitch was dancing. It's 0-2.
Yeah, I can understand how lefties are having a little trouble if he puts it right there every time. And you're saying they signed him out of high school, right?
They drafted him, yeah.
Drafted him out of high school.
Yes.
There are guys sometimes that slip to the 9th or 10th round, and the Braves have been able to steal guys like this who already had commitments to go play at a major college, Division I school, maybe for him an ACC or SEC school, and teams are reluctant to more or less risk a higher draft pick on him, so they draft him a little lower and still give him, you know, top 5 money to talk him out of it. I don't know if that's the case with this guy, but looking at his numbers and his success.
You said that he was a shortstop. Did they draft him as a shortstop or a pitcher?
He has done nothing but pitch, according to the numbers I'm seeing.
That's a big shortstop.
That may have been why he went so late. He might have played shortstop all through high school, and they liked his arm and drafted him as a pitcher.
Sounds like a man we used to have in Atlanta, Anderson Simmons. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Real Muto will apply the tag. And Bryce, a nice 1-2-3 inning for Miami. Off we go to the 6th. Top of the order coming up for the Fish.
Miami Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day.
It's 7-5. We head to the 6th inning. Joe, Tim, and Chip with you tonight. Tim, how good are you at trivia?
Depends on the subject.
How about baseball and Braves trivia?
I don't know.
Oh, that doesn't help us. Well, we'll see if we can get lucky tonight. Turner Field trivia time. Who's the all-time leader in multi-homer games by a visiting player at Turner Field? Multi-homer games by a visiting player at Turner Field. Ryan Howard comes to mind immediately.
Yeah. I'll bet it's somebody else, though.
Correct. As Ian Kroll stands in, he will pitch the 6th. Third Atlanta hurler tonight. And he's got Gordon, Suzuki, and Prado, then Yelich.
Got the day off yesterday, but worked in a couple of games in that series against the Mets. A couple of shutout innings.
Slapped and Gordon can't get it at short. He dived and that ball took a hop over his glove, and a fast runner's aboard for Miami, and that'll bring the tying run to the plate. Ichiro Suzuki, D. Gordon with a 2-for-4 game. Suzuki 2 hits in 3 tries. Mean to, and that's a strike.
Wonder if he's ever been thrown out of a game. Suzuki.
Don't know the answer to that.
Hard time hanging in there on Ian. I mean, you think about it, he could say pretty much anything he wanted to.
That's true.
He could drop a lot of stuff on an umpire, and who would know?
No balls, 2 strikes. What a stop.
Great stop. I'm going to guess that he has been thrown out of a game is probably by Bob Davidson for balking.
Pretty good chance. But unquestionably one of the great players in this sport, and he's got a 3-hit game. And Gordon's going to put the pedal to the metal, and he'll advance to third, and the Marlins are coming back 1st and 3rd. And I don't know if Ichiro set up Ian Kroll with this at bat. Remember the first pitch up and in, then he had the feeble swing on a ball down and away, and then bang with 2 strikes.
One thing's for sure, he wanted to pull. He's pulling away from the plate, and with that hole on the right side, he was trying to just hit something over there, and he did. It wasn't hit hard. An artist at work.
He's a very smart hitter.
So Martin Prado hits. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Braves have not been able to stand prosperity in this game. They led 7-0. Miami got 5 runs in the 4th off Mike Foltynewicz.
Arbuckle Jenkins found the answer for us. Suzuki was kicked out of 1 game back in September of 04 or 09? 9. For drawing a line in the dirt, probably on a called 3rd strike by Brian Runge.
I guess it don't matter what language you speak.
Yeah.
Start drawing lines. I think you understand, right?
Yep.
One ball, 2 strikes. And you better be careful with D. Gordon 90 feet away at 3rd base. If you take liberties with that man at first, he might try to streak home. As we mentioned, Prado makes a lot of contact. Leads the league in double play balls. Braves would trade a run for 2 outs. Way high, 2-2. Driven to left, that's a base hit. It's 7-6. Suzuki stops at second. Martin Prado with a 2-hit, 2 RBI night. And 3 straight Marlins hitters have singled in the inning.
'94 fastball, didn't get it in.
Now you've got Yelich. And you might see Giancarlo Stanton or Jeff Francoeur next. Or perhaps another Marlins hitter. We shall see. Lefty lefty for Yelich. 2 on, nobody out. A run is in. 14 Miami hits. And a good save by Flowers, and time will be called. The Braves bullpen is busy. The Marlins bullpen is busy. Miami was down 7-0 after 3 innings.
Jazz Rowe loosening up. Yelich, .286 average against left-handers. Only 1 of his homers against a lefty.
One pitch. Game was humming along after 2.5, but there have been base runners all over the place since. Base hit left field. Here comes Ichiro to third. They are going to wave him. Here comes Kemp's throw. Instead, Ichiro slams on the brakes. So Yelich singles. 4 straight hits for the Marlins. Ian Kroll looking into the Atlanta dugout as Giancarlo Stanton is going to be announced.
Great piece of hitting here by Yelich. Watch how he just puts his foot down. He didn't even pick it up. He just picked his heel up, put it down, and then let his hands do the talking. Good plate coverage. Wasn't, as you put it earlier, Tim, not trying to do too much with that pitch. Solid hit.
It's a good two-strike approach. Didn't do too much with it.
Ian Kroll had an awful time in the 6th. He did not retire a batter. He has given up a run on 4 singles, and he departs with the bases loaded. As we promised you earlier tonight, Greer Howard is going to be showing all of Braves country the happenings at SunTrust Park. Here's her first installment on the Braves' new home in 2017.
Braves fans, we are just months away from watching our Atlanta Braves play their first game at SunTrust Park. A huge moment for our legendary franchise and a game changer for you, the fans. Hey, this is Greer Howard. Over the last few years, I've had the privilege of welcoming you to Turner Field and keeping you informed about what's happening around the ballpark. As we get closer to opening day in 2017, I'll be bringing you weekly updates and exclusive behind-the-scenes access to the progress of both SunTrust Park and the Battery Atlanta. Every week, I'll give you an inside look into the different areas within the new ballpark, its character and charm, its pristine sidelines, and highlight every feature designed specifically for you. I'll also keep you up to date on the restaurants and retail that you can enjoy at the Battery Atlanta 365 days a year. So stay tuned as I keep you informed on everything that you need to know. Join me every week right here for a walk in the park.
Hi, Greer. Thank you very much. Exciting times for the Braves organization and for Braves fans everywhere. In fact, our Fox Sports crew will be taking a tour of the ballpark on Wednesday, and we'll get an up-close look at the progress of the new Braves home, and we'll tell you all about that on Wednesday night.
I can't wait to see it. After seeing it, I think it was in May when we had our first tour, go back and see how close they're getting to having things completed. Chaz Rowe, not the kind of situation you want to come into. Bases loaded, nobody out, and Stanton up.
Welcome to the ball game.
Yeah.
They bear down here, make some good pitches down in the zone.
The longest or the largest comeback win in the history of the Marlins franchise is 7 runs. They were down 7-0 tonight. They're down 7-6 now, and they've got the big boy Giancarlo Stanton digging in. Suzuki at third, Prado at second, Christian Yelich at first, and there's nobody out. Another injury-plagued year for Giancarlo Stanton, this time a groin problem.
It's called is it a grade 3? Is that what you call it? Injury? Is it a grade 3?
Don't know the answer to that.
Anyway, it was severe.
I mean, there was a lot of talk that Stanton's season was over.
Yes.
He wasn't coming back, so
yes.
Pretty remarkable that he's able to do anything now.
Yeah, he's not going to play in the outfield probably the rest of the year, but he's okay to hit, and he hit a ball in the club level tonight in batting practice to left field.
And he's got a different face guard on. 1 ball, 1 strike. Stanton has the Dansby Swanson style face shield. Remember the one in Miami that was the almost football mask looking contraption?
Yeah, it seemed like he wore that one for lefties and this one for right-handers. Oh, what a slider.
Pretty pitch.
Looks like he's doing something a little different with his hands.
Yeah, he's usually real straight and still, isn't he?
He has a little more motion to his hands. There's a little more in front of his face as well.
Good catch.
Well, as great a hitter as Giancarlo Stanton is and has been, the Braves have been his kryptonite. He has not hit well against Braves pitching this year, nor has he in his career.
Well, he might get one to hit here, 3-2.
Yeah.
With them loaded. Chaz's best pitch is that sweeping slider.
Fly ball, well hit, but playable for Kemp. Ichiro will tag at third. He's going to score. Kemp threw toward third. That hurts. And the runners move up 90 feet. Beckham was pointing to second base, but Kemp threw in an attempt to get Prado at third. And instead of keeping the double play in order, the Marlins get 2 more runners in scoring position, and they've come back to tie this game at 7 apiece. RBI for Stanton.
Yeah, that was ill-advised to throw to third. But Stanton ties it up. And now they'll put Bohr on to load him up again.
So Miami's come back from a 7-run deficit after 3 innings. They have scored the last 7 runs in the game. What did I say earlier about the Braves get to hit last? That might be necessary tonight. And the happiest man in the Marlins dugout is Andrew Cashner. He is off the hook after a dreadful 7-run 2-inning performance. So here's Real Muto, a terrific young player and a 300 hitter. Strike one.
Only the second time they've scored as many as 7 runs in a game since August 30th.
Perfect pitch. 0-2.
They had been struggling to score runs as of late, but putting together some really good at-bats. 15 hits on the board already, just in the 6th inning.
Swing and a miss. Real Muto swung at a ball 2 feet off the plate. Thank you very much. 2 out.
That slider, Chip. Watch this thing go from one side of the plate to the other and off the plate.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a great pitch. Set up with 2 nice fastballs.
So the bases are still loaded for Echeverria. He's the 8th man to hit in the Marlins 6th. If Rowe can get out of this and keep it tied, that would be a whale of a relief job. And he's a strike away from doing just that. Remember, he had Stanton, Bohr, Real Muto, and now Echeverria to face.
And his fastball is good enough to keep him honest. That was 93, and Echeverria was late on it. So if they sit on the slider and guess wrong, he can throw it by him. And I'm guessing another slider here.
I don't know if he wanted that over the inside corner or not. Might have missed his spot. And here's where he wants action. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hit toward Beckham. He gloves. He throws on the run, and Rowe did a whale of a job. He gives up the sacrifice fly and nothing else, and the Marlins settle for 2 in the 6th, and they have new life, 7 apiece.
As we head to the bottom of the 6th, and Fox Sports South and Southeast continues Prospect Week, and I have found the Braves' #2 prospect, Ozzie Albies, in the house tonight here at Turner Field. So welcome in. I know everybody is excited to have you here, but you do have a fractured elbow. That was an injury that scared a lot of us. Can you take me through how it happened?
It's a tough call. When it happened, I just swung the bat and it really popped, painful, and I was like, this is a really embarrassing time to happen too, and it was actually hard for me to be out of the season, especially now my team is in the finals, and I want to be there. I will support my team to help them win the ball game.
I've seen all the pictures. He's standing there, guys, giving every teammate a high five as they go on the deck. But can you take me through also how you're feeling right now?
I'm feeling good right now. I'm just ready to do my surgery, and hopefully it's going to be really good. And as soon as possible, I can be ready to go. I will be doing my rehab, doing everything I need to be ready for spring training again.
Yeah, and you heard him say it there. Spring training, the Braves are thinking that he will be able to be back for spring training, so that is great news. But you had an incredible season. You got the Southern League batting title. You hit .231 this season in Mississippi. Was that what you needed to just get your confidence level to where you wanted it to be, where you're at in your career?
Yeah, I mean, my goal is always to be the best, be a champion. And I always work for this, to be swinging the bat pretty good, to be awesome at the plate and off the plate too. So I work for that.
And a lot to be excited about. Dansby Swanson up here now. You've played a lot next to him at second, the future infield for the Braves. What's it like seeing him play up here, and how much fun was it for you guys to be able to play together and really develop that chemistry?
It was amazing playing together with Swanson. At shortstop, he's an amazing guy, great teammate, and we just having fun. We love how we play together, turn some double plays, and hopefully being up here at the big league level to show the Brave country what we can do.
Now, two things he said that really stood out to me there is that, A, he's training to be the best and be a champion, and that's what the Atlanta Braves are building for. That's why we've been doing this rebuild, because there is so much talent down in that minor league system. And I know I can speak for the rest of Braves country and the broadcast crew that we're excited to see you and Dansby turn in some of those double plays you talked about up in SunTrust Park. But thank you so much for joining us, and I'll leave you enjoy the rest of the game.
Thank you.
Chip and Joe will send it back up to you guys.
Okay, Kelsey, thanks. And good luck to Ozzie Albies as he gets ready, as he said, for his elbow surgery. And we were told that he would be ready for baseball activities around the 1st of the new year. So that's good news. As Freddie Freeman bats for the Braves here in the 6th. A sensational stab at third, by the way, by Martin Prado during the terrific interview a moment ago.
Yeah, great year for Ozzie. It's a shame it ended the way it did. Congratulations to him on his batting title. This guy throws hard. Ellington. Upper 90s fastball and a slider. He can hit triple digits on occasion.
That's down the left field line. That's going to get down for a hit. And Freddie Freeman has a 1-out double. I would say Mr. Freeman's having a happy birthday at the plate. 3 more hits for the Braves first baseman.
Backdoor breaking ball. Got it.
It's that swing I was telling you about.
Yeah. It's a beauty.
It's tough.
So we're getting the injury updates from the Braves locker room. We'll give those to you in a second as Matt Kemp's the batter. And a swing and a miss. Mike Fultonevich left with a left calf contusion. He was hit on the batted ball by Marcelo Ozuna in the 4th inning. And Dansby Swanson hit on a throw to second by Tyler Flowers left the game with a right groin contusion.
It was a throw to the pitcher that went over the pitcher's head. And Dansby happened to be standing back there waiting for the warm-ups to be completed.
You got him in the groin, huh?
I guess so. Oof. And he wasn't lollipopping that throwback.
No.
Tyler wasn't.
It's a rough one. A contused groin.
No thanks. Pop up out of play.
Well, where's that one going?
Wow. Kemp has so much pine tar in his bat. That's the baseball. Look at that. Nothing in 2. Ground ball to second. And the throw to first is in time. Kemp gets Freeman to third base, but that cost the Braves their second out of the inning.
I play with some guys who would throw pitches to the plate that were marred a little bit like that. Do you think pitchers today, Tim, know how to do that kind of thing? You know, take a scuff baseball perhaps and make it work?
I think pitchers nowadays their stuff's too good. They don't need it. Old guys like myself, you know, if I had to pitch right now, I'd need a little help out there for sure. No, that don't happen. That doesn't happen.
No.
Anymore at all.
No.
No. Not at all.
I mean, when we're seeing pitchers throw balls out that have been hit on the dirt, the pitchers are throwing them out. The umpires aren't throwing them out. You realize the pitchers don't know what to do with them anyway.
Yeah.
If you had a booth cam at home when Glavin's working these games, he sees the pitcher throw it out, and Tom just throws his hands up, hand hits the table in disbelief. What are you doing?
Yeah, they sit and had the right pitching coaches. Get the right pitching coach didn't know how to use it. They should teach that at instructs.
Yeah.
At an early age.
Clear pine tar stuff.
Yeah.
Fly ball right center field. That's going to get down and break the tie. Nick Markakis is in at second. He's got a double, and the Braves are back in front 8-7. Two base hits for the Braves in the 6th inning.
Well, Nick was upset that he struck out his last time up with a guy in scoring position. He never lets that happen. So he wasn't going to let it happen twice in a row. 81 RBIs now.
37 doubles for Markakis. Another 2-out RBI for him. And let's see if Tyler Flowers can extend the lead.
Nice answer by the Braves.
That's driven foul. Well, we said something about this Braves ball club, excuse me, since the acquisition of Matt Kemp. We've talked a lot about how the offense has improved. I think it's safe to say that there isn't a team that really enjoys playing Atlanta's offense right now. Gave the Mets a terrific fight in 2 of the 3 games. Got 2 series left with the Marlins. The Braves have a series in New York. As this ball's hammered to right, Ichiro on the run is going to get there, and he makes the play to retire the side. Tonight, 8 runs, 12 hits for the Braves through 6 innings of play, and the best news of all, they're back in front in Game 1. Legendary manager Bobby Cox on Saturday, September 17th. The first 20,000 fans at Turner Field get a Bobby Cox carried off bobblehead presented by Coca-Cola and Delta Airlines. Go to Braves.com/tickets and get your seats today. Wild ball game in Atlanta. Let's see if Jose Ramirez can restore some order. He will pitch the 7th. He's in his 25th game.
Well, what would be nice after Chaz Rowe came in and did such a great job there with the bases loaded, nobody out, is just a continuation of that. Ramirez, Cabrera, Johnson shut him down the rest of the way.
Derek Dietrich will be the first, then Gordon, then Suzuki. And Brian Gorman's been consistent. Called that one a strike. Dietrich 1 for 2. He came on as a pinch hitter in the 4th inning, singled home a run, and later scored. That was part of the 5-run 4th inning for the Fish. You guys like playing in games like this?
I did.
I can't say so much for pitchers.
I just wanted to make sure.
No. It was really cool till the 4th.
Yeah.
And then, oof, it's a tornado out there on the mound. Can't get away from it.
2 balls and a strike. And out of play foul. think Dietrich's an interesting player to keep an eye on. We've made very clear, and it's no secret, the Marlins are looking for pitching. If they don't re-sign Martin Prado, I wonder if Dietrich could play third base for them. If they do re-sign Prado, that means there's really no place for Dietrich to play in this club, even though he's a terrific utility guy. That one's hit toward the gap in left center field. Kemp gets to it on a big hop, and Dietrich leads off with a single. Well, as this guy hits the baseball, he might be a player that could bring a pitcher back to Miami if that's the route they try to take.
Yeah, he's a valuable piece. He does a lot for him offensively and defensively, so I'm sure he'd be appealing to some team this offseason if they were to re-sign Prado.
And if they didn't,
there's your guy.
They have a guy.
Yeah, you got some insurance there.
2 hits, 2 strikeouts for D. Gordon. He scored a run. 7 runs on 16 hits for Miami. Marlins have 28 come from behind wins this year. Their largest comeback in history, 7 runs. They were down 7 today, got it tied, but now they trail 8-7. They're 3 hits away from their season high, which was 19 against San Diego. Jeff Francoeur talking things over with Christian Yelich. Pretty good chance you'll see Jeff at some point in this crazy game. Golfed and a great stop by Freeman to rob D. Gordon of a hit. Wow.
Unbelievable reflexes right here.
We've seen some stellar defensive play at first base in this homestand. By Freddie, by Campbell, by Flores.
It's a run-saving grab right there. You probably score some first. At the very least, it's first and some second and third.
Now Ichiro bats with a man at second, 1 out and a strike. A double, 2 singles, an RBI, and 2 runs for the Marlins outfielder. Slap towards second. Dietrich to third. 2 outs. And now Prado. For Suzuki, it's his 4th 3-hit game of the year. But he's retired here in the 7th. And Prado the batter. 2 RBI singles in as many trips. He grounded to third and popped to third his first 2 times up. Martin Prado with a .342 batting average on the road this year. Good Patience there. Now a 2-1 count.
Yeah, and he came in, I think, leading the majors, not just the National League, and hitting against left-handed pitching too. 417.
That's correct. He's second in road average to Real Muto of the Marlins. He's hitting .362. Pitch is up and in. 3 balls and a strike, and Ramirez is a pitch away from having to face Yelich. And that's exactly what will happen. First and third, and Yelich the hitter.
You know, the only problem with that is the Braves have 2 lefties in the bullpen, but they've already used Ian Kroll, and Jed Bradley worked 3 innings yesterday. So he's, I'm sure, unavailable.
It is not easy managing September baseball. And the Braves have not made it easy on themselves tonight. They led 7-zip. Now it's 8-7 Atlanta, but the Marlins threaten with 2 outs. And Yelich takes low. Dietrich and Prado the runners. And popped up. Kemp in left is going to have a play, and that retires the side. We head to the 7th inning stretch. The Braves maintain their 8-7 lead.
As we head to the bottom of the 7th inning, Mississippi and Rome both in playoff action tonight. So let's get you out to Rome with our Xfinity game break. Bottom of the 5th, Rome trailing 1-0, and Justin Ellingson with Rome's only hit of the night as he doubles down the left field line. Rome would fail to score. 5-0 was the final from game 1. But the good news is that it is a best-of-5 series. Also, Mississippi lost 6-4 as well. And I got to give credit to Ozzie Albies while I can for not correcting me when I said his batting average was .231, not .321. Just shows he's a classy guy, but I definitely want to make sure that he gets the credit that he deserves after the kind of season that he had down there.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. Thanks for the video and the update from Rome. Better luck tomorrow night as the Braves bat here in the 7th inning, leading 8-7. Jace Peterson Gordon Beckham. And then the pitcher spot. Fly ball pretty well hit toward right. Ichiro on the run. He's not getting that. That's going to bounce off the warning track. It'll be a ground rule double for Jace Peterson.
Jace has hit these guys pretty hard all year long. He has 7 home runs, 2 against Miami. And you might remember last year his first big league homer was a grand slam down in Miami. Jumped all over that fastball.
Yeah, Peterson came in hitting .313 against Miami pitching this year. Yeah, that average will improve with a 2-for-4 night. As Gordon Beckham bats, he'll try to move him to third base. Popped up. Suzuki has a cannon. There's the catch. Peterson's tagging. Here comes the throw. It is on line and in time. What a great throw by Ichiro Suzuki. Jace Peterson gunned out at third base. The Braves might take a look at this, however.
Wow, that was an impressive throw.
Even at age 42. On the fly. His tag looked like it was on the back of the leg. He's safe.
I think he might have gotten in there, but still a remarkable throw.
Well, the initial call was out. Hopefully there's enough evidence to overturn the bang play at third base.
I think it will be.
Joe, I know you love watching outfielders throw. We are so spoiled to see Ender Inciarte make his throws from the outfield. But not only the strength of Suzuki's arm, but the accuracy. I mean, that was a waist-high throw right at the bag, where Martin Prado had to hope he could just apply the tag fast enough.
Yeah, and the thing for him there is that there's no other base runners, so he can airmail it all the way. And there was no, if you're watching the flight of that throw, there was no tailing action. It wasn't cutting. Good four-seamer that carried right to the base.
Yeah, I'm sure y'all have seen the replay over and over of Ichiro throwing Terrence Long out at third when we were in Oakland. I was in the dugout for that one.
Yeah, did you?
Very similar to that throw right
there. So the call is overturned. Peterson did beat the play, despite a fantastic throw from Ichiro Suzuki. That's an important run and a productive out for Gordon Beckham, as Anthony Recker will be the hitter for Jose Ramirez. Ramirez went an inning, 1 hit, 1 walk in the 7th inning that he pitched tonight.
Yeah, it's an opportunity for Atlanta fans to see Suzuki play, who he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Come out, watch him.
2 more chances here in Atlanta for that, as the infield creeps in for Recker with 1 out. The amazing thing too for Suzuki, last year he had to play a lot and got ran down. He's played 126 games this year, approaching 300 at bats, and is almost hitting 300 at 42. One ball, 1 strike.
98 on that fastball. Yeah, I think Mattingly's done a great job handling him, making sure that he got rest when he needed it.
You got to give those vintage cars some TLC once in a while.
Yep.
You know.
Ball and a strike. And that shaved a corner.
Line on Ramirez, 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk.
Game 2 here tomorrow night. Matt Whistler will come back and pitch for the Braves. Atlanta will take their first look at right-hander Jake Esch. Shot up the middle, a base hit for Recker. The infield end saved him. No chance for D. Gordon to spear that. Jace Peterson comes home to make it a 9-7 Braves game.
And the way things have gone tonight, those add-on runs are really important.
What a bad pitch.
Hard hit ball too.
Fastball down and away, put the barrel on it, got it through that drawn in infield.
So Ellington pitches an inning and a third. He gives up 4 hits, 3 of them doubles. He's allowed a couple of runs. He did not strike anyone out, did not walk anyone. The Marlins will bring on a 6th reliever tonight. Mike Dunn, the former Brave, gets the call next.
Georgia Power. And Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience sports.
The Braves extend their lead 9-7. 30 combined hits tonight and almost as many pitchers.
Well, the night's not over.
That's a good point. And we'll chronicle every single exciting relief change on Braves Live, presented by Xfinity. Former Brave Mike Dunn is on for his 42nd game. 2 hits for Enciarte, both of them extra base hits. A first inning triple, a third inning double, and he scored a couple of runs.
246 average against Dunn, a little high for him against left-handed hitters. Fastball, slider. Fastball tops out at about 94.
Cubs haven't had to make any pitching changes tonight. They are in St. Louis with a magic number of 5 to win the Central. They've got Kyle Hendricks on the mound, leading 4-0. And Hendricks has a no-hitter working as the Cardinals come up in the 8th. We'll keep you up to date on that. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner goes, and the pitch popped out of play. All the talk of Jake Arrieta and his great season last year, and by the way, 16 wins this year. Kyle Hendricks ought to be spoken of more highly as far as the Cy Young Award in the National League this year.
Yeah, he's had a great year. Just overshadowed there.
Leads the league in ERA at 2.07.
And he does it in a much different way than Arrieta's. Definitely more Maddox-like.
Is he?
He's 88 to 90. Cuts it, sinks it. Change up, nice change up. Not overpowering, but he gets the job done.
And having a big game for the Cubs tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Can't think of anything for Cubs fans sweeter than clinching the division. If they sweep the Cardinals, they could do that and celebrate on the home field of their bitter rivals, the Cardinals.
That would just add insult to injury. They knocked them out of the playoffs last year.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Record not going. And that one fouled off Real Muto. Everybody's all right. In the American League, Toronto beat Tampa Bay 3-2. Yankees are losing to the Dodgers. That one is 8-2 in New York. That game in the 9th inning. The Yankees have a brutal schedule. Every single game, with the exception of 3 they have with Tampa Bay, will be against a division or wild card leader down the stretch. Be very tough for the Yankees to make postseason play, as Inciarte didn't get it. Good pitch by Dunn. Struck him out, 2 away.
Tied him up on a fastball inside.
So Dunn retires the first batter. Here's Adonis. White Sox lead Cleveland 5-3. The Indians have a nice lead in the AL Central, but Danny Salazar is going to miss 3 or 4 weeks with a forearm problem. A forearm strain, it was labeled today. That's one of the strengths of the Indians club, that tremendous rotation. Boston won. They clobbered Baltimore 12-2. Red Sox now a 3-game lead over Baltimore, a 2-game lead over Toronto. Red Sox have a relentless offense too.
Yeah, no soft spots. All those young guys really having good years. Betts, Bradley Jr., Bogarts.
Well, that real old guy's having a good year too, right? David Ortiz.
Yeah. Pedroia too.
Nothing in 1, 2 outs. 2-run Braves lead. Bora gives chase, almost tripped over the first base bag, but that one's into the crowd. We'll see an 0-2 pitch. Tigers lead Minnesota 4-2. Brian Dozier hit his 40th home run tonight.
Wow.
First Twin since Harmon Killebrew to hit 40 home runs in a season. I think it's almost 30 home runs after the break.
Wow.
For Dozier. And that one through Real Muto. Wild pitch. And Recker at second base, where a hit could score him.
All of this damage tonight. 16 runs, 30 hits, 1 homer.
Swing and a miss. That takes care of Garcia. Real Muto threw the ball down to third. He might have forgotten how many outs there were. He's been back there a long time. We head to the 8th. 9-7. Atlanta in front.
understand, I hope everybody understands what we have coming is something special. We are stocked full of especially arms and a couple of bats here and there, but what they've done is nothing short of a, I won't say a miracle, but nothing short of something special. And getting all this talent that we are primed for a run in years to come. When it's going to be, I don't know. I wish I could. I wish I could say what year that's going to be, but it's coming, as evidenced by the kind of year we had in the minor league system this year.
That was Jonathan Schuerholz as we continue with Prospect Week. I want to congratulate Jonathan for his terrific work in the farm system in the minor leagues this year. He's gotten rave reviews for his performance. As Tomas Tellis is the hitter for Miami. Mauricio Cabrera is on to pitch, hoping he can rebound after a disappointing outing his last time out against the Mets.
Yeah, that ERA took a hit against the Mets.
Speaking of Prospect Week, Mauricio Cabrera was the 29th ranked prospect in the Braves organization at the start of the year. As this ball is banged up the middle, and it's a leadoff hit for Tellis. Despite his recent troubles, I think it's safe to say that Mauricio has improved his stock considerably, higher than 29th.
I would say so.
So Miami again will bring the tying run to the plate. It's Justin Bour. Bour has 2 hits, a walk, and he's flied out. By the way, Hendricks is through 8 with his no-hitter. The last time a Cardinal team was no-hit in St. Louis, Eddie Saccott of the Black Sox.
Is that right?
99 years ago.
Good grief.
So he is chasing big-time history in St. Louis. Here's Bour. And a strike. Both bullpens are busy. A shot to second. Peterson stayed with it. Bour hit a screaming line drive. Wow.
One of the things he does, it might create a lot of swings and misses, but boy, when he connects, he gets a big load in his swing. He pulls his hands back, and then watch him cock that wrist just a little bit, this top end just a little bit, and then it's just a flip of the big end. And I mean, he can throw the lumber at it.
He is the whammer.
That's a great nickname for him.
He just hit it to the wrong spot. And is the first out. Here's Real Muto.
He has a hitch that creates some serious torque in his swing.
It sure does.
Brings that barrel through there. He squares it up. Look out.
No balls and a strike. Key stat in the game for the Marlins is the left on base column. They have stranded 12 men through 7 innings tonight. The Braves have left 8. That kind of sums up how it's gone for the Marlins. They have not been scoring many runs, and on a night when they score 7, it's not enough. And there have been way too many nights for them in September where the average has been about 3. Ground ball short. Beckham backflip. Chase Peterson handles and makes the turn. A beautiful double play. Gordon Beckham has stepped in for Dansby Swanson, and he's made a couple of dazzling plays. This one up the middle. Backhanded flip. 6-4-3, and we head to the home 8th. Birthday for Freddie Freeman tonight. The big Braves first baseman has 3 hits, 2 runs, an RBI. He made a great play at first base. And he will lead off the home 8th with the Braves in front by a pair of runs. And he will face Fernando Rodney, who was brought on again by the Marlins to help solidify the Miami bullpen. And Rodney has not done that. He has not pitched very well since putting on a Miami uniform.
He has 8 saves for them, but a 5.40 ERA as a Marlin and 3 losses. He's 2-3 with a 5.40.
When you're a late inning guy and you've pitched 32 innings, 20 walks, and 5 homers, that's problematic. And they have really needed Rodney because A.J. Ramos has had finger problems. He's got a fractured knuckle on his hand. So Rodney will try to hold the Braves right here and hope his offense can do something in the 9th. That skipped up there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hendricks' no-hitter is over. Old man Hazelbaker's boy, Tim.
God, got him again, huh?
On an 0-2 count, he hit a home run.
Wow.
Well, might as well get rid of the no-hitter and the shutout all at once.
Right. So that's a 4-1 game in St. Louis. Giants are getting started against San Diego. That one's in the bottom of the 1st inning. Giants are playing better baseball. They've pulled to within, I should say, the Giants have pulled to within 3 of the Dodgers. See what Hunter Pence has done?
I know he's been hot.
Back-to-back 4-run games on Friday and Saturday. He's just the 5th Giant with 8 runs scored in consecutive games in the history of the franchise. And entering tonight's play, he is 11 for his last 16 at the plate. And boy, do they need him to get real hot in the final 3 weeks.
He's the kind of player that can carry a ball club. He brings a lot offensively.
That one low, and Rodney issues a leadoff walk to Freddie. That's only the 5th walk issued by the Marlins staff in the game. And I say only because they've used 8 pitchers. So a good start for the Braves, who look for some 8th inning insurance. 2 hits for Matt Kemp. He scored a run. And that's off the plate. Ball 1. You know, he's seen Rodney a lot. In fact, they too were teammates.
If you're the runner at first base, the only sign that you have from Rodney that he's actually in the stretch is when his glove moves. Pitchers are not allowed to take their sign with their glove in front of them with the ball in the glove. You can't deceive the runner that way. So something's got to move, either the ball or the glove.
Almost looks like he's looking at him with his hat turned.
Yeah, he's deking him. Maybe that's why he does it.
Yeah.
Bouncing ball to 3rd, and that hops over Prado's glove. Freeman's around 2nd. He's on his way to 3rd. The throw came into 3rd, and that allows Kemp to take 2nd base. That's actually going to be scored a double, and the Braves have him at second and third. Nobody out.
Good call on the scoring. Ball came up on Martin.
Don Mattingly put up the four fingers to walk Markakis, so the Braves will have the bases loaded again, and they'll have them loaded with nobody out again.
Well, Tyler's already added to his bases loaded average. Let's see if he can get a little more to it.
Yeah, I think Chip talked Tyler right into that one. I think he ought to be coaching him up here a little bit again.
I think it's time for a grand slam.
All right.
Put it out of reach.
Now we're talking.
One more note on that Cardinal game. Apparently Joe Madden got ejected. Was it Joe West, the home plate umpire? Could there have been a disputed third strike call in the at-bat before the home run?
Yeah.
So here we go. Tyler Flowers versus Fernando Rodney, who began this inning with a walk to Freddie Freeman. Kemp doubled him to third base. Markakis aboard with an intentional pass, and now Tyler Flowers, the hitter. Infield comes in.
Rodney wanted to check at first base, see if he went around, but no help asked for by Quinn Walcott.
There's a strike. Interesting note on the first base umpire tonight too, Ramon De Jesus. He is the first major league umpire from the Dominican Republic. First ever. And a ground ball, base hit. Flowers comes through again. One run scores. Yelich loads up. His throw will be cut off. Kemp scores standing up. And Tyler Flowers has ended some bases loaded misery in tonight's game. 2 singles, 4 RBIs, and the Braves have broken the game open.
Might have been a changeup. Yep, stayed with it.
Sometimes you just got to ask for it. A couple hits, bases loaded. That's it.
The Braves have scored in every inning but the 4th and 5th tonight. They lead now 11-7.
Don Mattingly's still got 4 relievers down there if he needs them.
Line to left. That's a base hit. Markakis will stop at third. Jace Peterson singles to load the bases. Don Mattingly doesn't want to, but he may have no choice but to go get Rodney, who does not have much tonight.
I tell you that these runs that each team has been on tonight have been consecutive hit runs where the pitcher just couldn't seem to find a place to go for an out.
They haven't been cheap hits either. They've been line drives all over the park.
So the Braves have scored 10 or more runs for the 3rd time this year. And Gordon Beckham will be the hitter. But first, Don Mattingly will call time and go to the mound. Got some clarification on that situation in St. Louis. Joe West ejected Joe Madden after Madden told his infield to go talk to Kyle Hendricks after he lost his no-hitter. Joe West told the catcher not to leave home plate and told the infield to break up the meeting. Joe Madden came out, asked what was up with that, and then Joe West threw him out. Interesting.
Joe West gets upset when you don't hustle out fast enough on the field, too.
11-7, another disappointing outing for Fernando Rodney. The Braves have tagged him for 2 runs so far here in the 8th. On the final games at Turner Field, now is your chance to help us determine the team that should represent 20 great years of baseball here at our downtown ballpark. Voting for the Toyota All Turner Field team is now open. So tell us who you think should man each of the infield and outfield positions and a full 5-man all Turner Field pitching rotation. Go to Braves.com/Turner Field. Excuse me, Braves.com/Turner Field team through September 26th and cast your vote.
Wait a minute. What about the relievers? What about the closer, for example?
All it says is a 5-man pitching rotation.
So I got to write in my closer.
I guess so. I guess so. This is Nafi Ogando.
I mean, if I want the dancing queen John Smoltz on there as a reliever instead of a starter,
I think that's an excellent idea. Right?
Just thinking ahead.
What a job by Gordon Beckham tonight. Joe has said many times the great thing about baseball is that no 2 games are alike, and this has been one of the wilder, stranger, crazier games we've seen in a while. Braves led 7-0. Marlins tied at 7-7. The Braves have scored the last 4 runs to take an 11-7 lead. Miami has had to use 8 relief pitchers after Andrew Cashner got clobbered over 2 innings of 7-run ball. The Marlins, who haven't scored much at all over the last 3 weeks, got 7 runs, 17 hits, and that's not enough. We had Ozuna get hit with a pitch in the 4th inning as Beckham drives one deep toward left, and that will be playable. Dietrich makes the grab. Tagging in, scoring is Markakis. Both runners move up for Atlanta. It's 12-7. Beckham with an RBI.
How about Gordon with 3 at bats, and he didn't come in the game until the 5th inning.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to lead to. We had Fultonevich hit Ozuna to start the 4th inning. Then Ozuna hits a batted ball that hit Fultonevich and knocked him out of the game. Both of those players left because of contusions. During warm-ups, Tyler Flowers threw the ball down towards second and hit Dansby Swanson. He had to leave with a groin contusion, so Gordon Beckham checks into the game, makes a couple of great plays at short, 3 at-bats, and now an RBI. As Blake Lally will bat here in the 8th.
There's a lot going on.
Yep.
Good gravy.
Ground ball. D. Gordon, nice play. The flip to first for the second out.
It's a nice play.
So time to revisit our Turner Field trivia question tonight. We've had about 3-4 innings to think about it. Once again, the question is, who's the all-time leader in multi-homer games by a visiting player at Turner Field? I'm going to say Ryan Howard.
I'm going with that guy right down there, Barry Bonds.
Yeah, that's my pick.
Bonds, okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Nice. Barry Bonds is the answer. And if I'm not mistaken,
hotter than a dancing bobcat.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken on the standings, I think the booth has a .555 win percentage. Just saying.
Kind of narrowing it down here too.
Little roller, slowly hit. Gordon charges, gloves, grabs, throws, and got his man. And Ogando restores a little order in the Miami 8th. The Braves score 3 times. They have a 5-run lead and need 3 outs to put this one in the win column.
Ninth inning in time for our Toyota key plays of the night. Braves knocked out Andrew Cashner early. 7 earned runs in 2 innings. He's going to get a no decision. Ichiro Suzuki with a big night. 3 hits. Mike Foltynewicz, 3 2/3 innings. He had a big lead but couldn't hang on to it. Nick Markakis with a big night, including a home run and a go-ahead double. And for Mike Foltynewicz, he got knocked out literally right here on this line drive off the bat of Marcell Ozuna. And we're told he came out with a calf contusion, able to walk off under his own power, but he got smoked on that line drive.
You guys ever seen that before?
No.
A man gets hit by a pitch, comes up again in the same inning, and then knocks the pitcher out with a batted ball.
Nope, never seen that. I've seen a guy get a measure of revenge later, his next at bat or something. I mean, later in the game, but not in the same inning.
Some serious payback, boys.
Well, hopefully neither one of those guys is seriously hurt. Both are having terrific years. Jim Johnson on to get the last 3 outs. He's got Echeverria, Dietrich, and D. Gordon.
Yeah, it's not a safe situation, but it was until the bottom of the 8th, and Jim was already warmed up.
That's fouled at the plate. Washington beat the Mets 8-1. Phillies beat Pittsburgh 6-2. Cardinals fall to the Cubs 4-1. Reds 3-0 over Milwaukee. Arizona 1, Colorado zip. Giants and Padres no score second. Slowly hit toward Gordon. He charges. He throws. He got his man. Boy, he's had a nice night in relief of Swanson. And there's the first out.
Interesting note here about the bullpen that started with Ryan Weber. They've given up 2 runs coming here into the 9th inning and only 1 strikeout. Throwing strikes, making them put it in play, but only 1 strikeout, and that came from Chaz Rowe, and it was a big one.
Fly ball by Dietrich to left. That's well hit. Kemp backpedaling, and makes the catch on the track. And the Braves are not away from playing the role of the spoiler tonight. It's a tough game for the Marlins, falling behind 7-0. They got it tied 7-7 with St. Louis losing. Miami could have picked up some ground on them. Hoping for some help from San Diego as well, but they are an out away from falling 2 games under 500. And in danger of losing their 12th out of 16 games. D. Gordon a strike, and he moved his feet, even count. Now the Braves are a strike away. Esch and Whistler tomorrow night. Two balls, 2 strikes. Now it's 3-2, and Gordon swings and misses, and this one's over. The Braves jumped all over Miami with 7 runs in the first 3 innings. The Fish came back with 7 in the next 3, but the Braves with a single run in the 6th broke the tie, put it away in the 8th with 3, and in long form fashion, the Braves beat Miami again. Tonight's final 12-7. Braves now 9-4 against the Marlins so far in 2016. Fun to play the role of the spoiler. Braves will try to do that tomorrow night. After a break, we'll recap a 12-7 Game 1 victory by the Braves at Turner Field tonight.